Hello, you're welcome to Reset to Thrive for Pastors. Well, maybe you don't know me, maybe you do, but by the grace of God, a few years ago, more than 30 years now, I have been involved in ministry, and then about 30 years precisely, I went into full-time ministry, for which I had to make a lot of adjustments, let the things I used to love so much, let them go. For instance, had to shut down my business and make sure that I responded to the call. As a matter of fact, a servant of God that was a mentor to me then said something that also enhanced my decision to follow through, do it with all of my heart, and that was total commitment brings total result. I like that. And besides, I have grown up to see myself as somebody who wants to do the best, be the best, show up and show up well. So that was very encouraging to me and to put in everything. But what I didn't know, which I think I would have done things differently, is that I could have still been doing ministry. I could have still been doing business. Yes, at some point I felt the Lord said I should commit. Now, being committed to the ministry, or doing the business wouldn't have stopped me from being committed to the ministry if I knew what I know today. However, that was the much we knew then, and we put in everything. I don't want to go into all the details. I don't want to bore you about how we made it to where we are now. But the good thing about today is that there is a positive side to COVID-19. The after effect of COVID-19 has been very severe, and I don't want to take that lightly. On our own part, we even had to review and see what would God want us to do now. Because the tendency is to be told everybody should watch a particular color, say blue in the house, or yellow in the house, or red, and everybody will focus on that. Even if there are other colors, we likely may not notice those colors. And if there is need for you to be told, can you look for another color that can help us to do what we have to do? You might have it a bit difficult. Why? Your mind wasn't focused on that color. You now have to carry out a search to see where is that color that is being mentioned. We have found out that many of us, if not all of us, when we stand on the pulpit to minister, we assume that everybody is at the same level. That is the assumption. If it is not the assumption, then we have not been doing very well. We have not been doing very well because we just give the same message to everybody. Doesn't matter the level of growth, doesn't matter the level of progress. It doesn't matter if somebody is at the point of discouragement or whatever. The person has to flow with whatever is happening in the church, because that's what we have for that day. And that's what has to be done, given the space of time available. And to many of us who are enjoying the grace of having more services than one, we try to pack in everything. And of course, everybody in that church has to adjust, knowing this is how we operate in our church. Saying that to say, even though we have services every week, even though you have the services every week, let's assume it's every day of the week, how many days do we put into having these services? How much time do we put into it? How many people who were excited, who received that word, will actually go back to invest into themselves by putting in extra time to go through the notes, if they ever took the note? And for those who took maybe the recording, or they had to download, how many have we been able to follow up to see? Are people actually following this? It feels good to deliver the message. As a matter of fact, the moment you know this is what God wants said to the church, but we can all agree that if God sends a word to the church or to a congregation, then there is need for that word to be implemented, for people to actually apply that word or the message in their lives so they can receive the change. As we know, no amount of preaching or teaching can change anybody until the person implements it, until the person takes action. Whether it is motivation, whether it's inspiration, whatever. You know, Zig Ziglar used to say that some people say motivation doesn't work. And so he also said, so also does bathing, because you have to bath every day. And if you've bathed before, and every day you make an effort to bath, to also, wear cologne and change your clothing and all that, keep yourself fresh, refresh yourself, then if we do same to motivation, it will work. Saying that to say, hearing a message once, in fact, people who are authority in that area will tell you, for it to really register, you should at least hear it up to 7 times. How many of us, even ministers, hear one message 7 times? And that is because even though that may be a particular a need in somebody's life, you are delivering a very powerful message. You are solving somebody's problem. But because there's no means of somebody being held accountable. I heard something from one of my mentors online. And he said, everything I'm selling, I have them on my podcasts. But he said, you know what? People will listen to it, but they won't do it. The reason is that nobody holds them accountable. I'm saying all these to propose to you, or before I go there, the other thing is that as much as we are driven to want to meet, make more impact, reach out to more souls, I know for a fact that many people are not reaching out to the soul so they can become disciples. If anything, to many churches, the focus is so we can grow our church in number. So we are doing more of the gathering of people so they can become our church members. And many, as soon as they become the church members, they learn the language of the church, they get to know the people, try to say the same things. If the church, bows to greet, they do. If they use 2 hands, they learn. Because nobody wants to be, the only odd person out. So you discover that the purpose for pastoring to a great extent, is misunderstood by us ministers, and also misunderstood, that that's even worse, by the congregation, or is worse for the pastors to not understand. And you discover that the church members who are supposed to be raised by us in the fivefold ministry to become the people that do the work of ministry according to Ephesians chapter 4, they most of the times just come to church to enjoy service, be ministered to, and after that, they go back and continue with their lives as usual, and then come back so they can be ministered to, and so that they can go back, live their life, and come back. So you discover that it is more of the fivefold ministry, and maybe a few of the people who are committed on their own, who actually do the work of ministry. So it is the pastor who visits the sick. It's the pastor who does that. No, it shouldn't be so. It's time. COVID-19 has a positive side to it. And that is, it's time for us to not just wear everybody the same uniform, the same size, by our preaching and administrations and our ministry. It's time for us to see the possibilities. Don't allow the feeling of frustration to make you actually be frustrated. Don't allow the shaking and all the things that are going on to make you lose hope or feel God didn't call you, or you feel you are worse off for answering the call because of what you are going through. But rather, there is always a way out. And what may come as a problem has the solution just by it. Now, on Saturday, by the grace of God, I'm going to share with us some of the possibilities. And one of them is, which is what I'm going to propose, is that there are people that you will reach outside of the confined congregation that are going to value your knowledge, are going to value your testimonies, they are going to value your stories, and they will be happy to part ways with money so you can be enhanced, empowered. I don't know anybody else. There's nobody who is doing any meaningful thing that is not having the financial support. The good news is that you and I have access to the means of using the knowledge you have. And nobody has compassion for people, for the souls of men more than you. Nobody has compassion for people's well-being more than you. If you are in ministry and you don't have that, I don't know why you are in ministry. But my assumption is that you have a call of God on your life. But more than that, you have a story that can change somebody's life. You have a story inside of you. Now, even if you wrote a book, you didn't write the book so you can store them or just have a title or be called an author. That's the mistake I used to make. I have, I think, at least more than 5 books I've written and so many recordings. But I didn't know how to monetize them. Now, is it specifically to make money? No, they are meant to minister to people. But here is the truth. If it is there and people who need them cannot have access, they can't be touched, then I didn't need to minister that word. So I see it as part of my service to make what God has given to me that can help others available. It is actually a disservice on my own part if I don't do that. The good news is we have the means now. We have the tools. This is one of them. How could I have been able to reach you? This is one of them. And I'm just talking to you as though you are with me. This is why it's so powerful. It's so powerful. So what I want you to do is to be with me on Saturday. I have a lot to share. If I tell you I don't have a lot to share to help pastors. We just closed down the church we were pastoring here. Why? We have found out that is not what God wants us to do now. As strange as that might sound to some people, but yet doors to ministry have opened, online and offline. So there's no way I will be doing the things that I'm doing now, and will continue doing, and feel frustrated, depressed because people don't gather. Because people don't gather and be in the church, but I can still touch people's lives. I can still raise disciples. I can still, millions of people are waiting to hear the sound of my voice. And the tools are available. So the next thing is just to know, how do I use them? Many people come and make these points, but they don't have the tools available. Or even if they have the tools, they don't have time for you to show you how do you use these tools. So that's why I am sending this video to you. If you think, if this resonates with you, if you can connect with what I'm saying, create time. Let's gather. I have some thoughts I want to share, and then practical solutions that we will look at and be able to use to maximize what God has made available. This season has come. It came as a disruption, but many times real change don't take place until there are disruptions. So let me pause here and allow you to continue with what you're doing. But please try and show up on Saturday. It's 6:30 to 8 p.m. UK time. So wherever you are on planet Earth, try and connect. I've chatted with some ministers from Canada, from Nigeria, from US, and some are still sending in more information, across the globe. As much as I am able to reach them, they have told me their experiences. There's not much difference. There's not much. It doesn't only happen, in US. It doesn't happen in the UK. People are experiencing the thing, and if we don't make the change now, it will be like those who were so much in love with manual labor during the agricultural era, and they didn't see the power in mechanized farming. Or some had other limitations, or they might have speculated, this is the machines are antichrist. You can use the machine for whatever you want. Depends on who you are. The same television that is being used to influence people to do the wrong, the same is being used by those who have life to share. Same internet that is being used to do all kinds of terrible things. People who have the heart for people are using it to touch lives. So, let me not go too far. But at least this gives you an idea that I have a lot I want to share with you. You will get real value, and it's free. It's free. After that, you would have gained some knowledge that you can implement. You would have been able to come to the point where you now are very decisive to know, I'm a child of God. I refuse to be a child of God and depressed. Refuse to be a child of God. More than that, I'm a servant of God. People's destiny are attached to me. And you have not delivered yet. There is a chance for us to do it. Praise God. So God bless you. Thank you so much for taking out time to watch this. And I look forward to seeing you. The details of the meeting, I think I'm going to attach it to this video, or wherever you find this. There's going to be some information as to the meeting we are going to have. Any pastor you know that is going through some challenges, I think there's hardly one who doesn't. Invite them to join us. It will be a worthwhile time. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.